Okay, if you're watching a recording, do fast forward. We are way early today because we had, I don't know, we've got something going on over here. So we're going to start here in about 6 minutes. And so fast forward if you're watching a recording. I'm still prepping over here, so. So we're a little behind. It's been busy here working on virtually ever crafting, but pretty exciting stuff. Lots and lots of new things coming in, and people are elevating their work. So that makes me excited. Some instructors have really taken my impetus or my encouragement to go forward and create new things, and some of them have really risen, and it's so exciting. I myself cannot say that I have risen. I'm just continuing to do. So if you're watching on Facebook, say hi. Actually, if you're watching on anywhere, say hi. Always nice to know that there's somebody out there, right? So again, I'm just sitting here prepping, last minute prepping here, and we're going to start here in about 4 minutes, counting down. Okay, hello. So everybody's starting to swing in, I see. Exciting stuff. So it's going to be a good one today. I'm pretty excited about this project. Okay, counting down 3 minutes. I have one more thing to do before I turn on the other camera so you can see what the heck I'm doing. Yes, I'm hiding. Hold on. It's going to get really loud here. Yes. Okay. Okay. I'm going to turn on the other camera. Still sort of cleaning up here, but hey. What the heck, right? Oh shoot, I still need more stuff. You know, sometimes I'm way ahead and sometimes I'm just way behind. Can I find a happy medium? I don't know. One day, right? One day we will find that happy medium. Okay. Speaking of auto edit lube, I need some. So how's everybody doing out there? You guys having fun? How's the weather? It's cold out here. I understand there's a front coming in and things are not going to be too happy here coming up this weekend. But I am looking forward to more snow. Yes, I said it. I want more snow. it is what it is. I don't think we've gotten enough. So there. I know, it's going to get nasty here in February because it's February. But we like this stuff. All right, how you doing, honey? If you're new to what's going on here and you're seeing this for the first time, honey is Andy. He's in my ear. He's helping me out every week. He's my producer, right? And he tells me what everybody's saying out there because I can only sometimes see what you're commenting on. So don't be shy about commenting. Do just go ahead and comment and he'll tell me if it's something that I need to know, usually questions and things, or if you say something outrageous, that I need to know about. Otherwise, we stay focused. Alrighty, there we are. Wire straighteners, need some pliers. Okay, so it's 1 o'clock. Hi, everyone. Welcome to Q Talk Live. We're simulcasting on YouTube, Facebook on 2 different pages, and on Twitch. So if you're not on Twitch, do join me on Twitch. If you're on Amazon Prime, do sign up for Twitch. It's free, and I get paid. That's the goal here, right? So it's free to Amazon Prime users, and anyway, so that's the deal. For everybody else, here we are, Wednesday, week 45. Today is step-by-step surprise twisted. Oh, and I apparently am supposed to say hello to Kathy and say happy birthday. Happy birthday. Hey, it's a good day to be alive, right? So anyway, that said, it's step-by-step surprise twisted project. If you've gotten a kit, you probably figured out that this is going to be a pair of earrings today. For those of you who don't know what step-by-step surprise projects are, they are literally surprise projects, and through steps, I will reveal what the project is. So yes, you're buying the kits blind, and it's just sort of fun. Right? So the next one is coming up. I think next week we're going to start the new one. This is a one stepper or a 1 session, and next one is I think a 2 session, but I'll give you a hint to next week's. It's called Step by Step Surprise Valentino. So if you don't like hearts, don't get this kit. Otherwise, you should be getting this kit. I'm pretty geeked out about the kit next week, more so than some of the other projects. And I'll give you another hint. I am as geeked out about step-by-step surprise Valentino as I was about the ornamental project. Yep, it's gonna be cool. Okay, so let's get started. What are we doing here? So for the surprise projects, I don't tell you everything here online because that's the whole point. So you'll have to buy the kit to get the instructions and the really minor details, not minor details, but the major details on the supply list so that you know what's going on. What you'll need today to follow along is you're going to need a bench block at some point. Bench blocks usually come with leather mallets, so you'll need a leather mallet too. Definitely will need a saw. You could get away with a disc cutter if you have one, but we can definitely use a saw today. Some cut lube to go with that because we need to lubricate said saw. If you're using a disc cutter, you're going to need something heavy to punch that disc. So you're going a brass hammer will be helpful. Okay, and then a file, of course, because we are metal workers, we always need a nice metal file, a circle template, and a center finder. Circle template's definitely helpful, but center finder is even more helpful. So both of those, a fine tip Sharpie. Since we're sawing, you're going to need a bench pin also, and a center punch. We're going to use a flex shaft today. If you don't have a flex shaft, you can definitely use a pin vise. It's just a little harder, but it's a little bit nice. So just a quickie, if you are signed up for the Zoom on Friday, before I forget here, the Zoom on Friday is 4 square. If you are signed up for that Zoom, I sent out an email that I messed up on the kit and we can't get you the product fast enough to replace what I screwed up on. So we are moving the Zoom session to the following week. And you know what? I'm probably going to throw up a link for a Zoom along for Friday. So if you want to hang out with us, you can on Friday. But look for that on the Q Talk Facebook page, the link anyway. And which means that if you haven't ordered your 4-square kit yet, there's still time to get that. And you'll actually get the right kit this time. You know, it's a thing. Okay, so let's jump in. So your kit, you should have received some discs. Some of you received this silver disc separately. Yeah, because it's been a challenging month for kits for Q. Okay, well, that's one way to put it. Anyway, so you should have gotten some silver discs in the mail. It goes with this twisted kit, all right? So you should have gotten some discs. We'll be using those. You should have gotten some metal strips and some wire and some beads, okay? So as I said, and earring wires. And as I said, this is going to be a pair of earrings, so that's why we have earring wires. The thing about this project that I want to discuss before I really jump into this is that it's up to you how you want to do it. It is actually going to end up being a two-tone project, but you don't have to because not everybody likes two-tone, right? And obviously we have copper and silver tone. So if you don't want to do a two-tone, of course you can do it all copper or you can do it all silver because you have the material to do that. Additionally, again, because you don't know where we're going with this, on this one I'm gonna have to make some upfront statements here. So what we're going to do first is we're going to solder these discs together. Okay, a copper one to a silver one. And so you're going to have a two-sided thing. But again, if you don't like that, then you don't have to do that. You also will do that with the strips. But you could, especially if you like the two-tone, but not for everything, you can definitely do the strips in just a single and call it good. Another decision that you have to make regarding this project is the weight of it because we're doing earrings, right? So if you feel that this is going to be too heavy, then don't do the two-tone. Perhaps what you should do is just do the two-tone here on the disc because this is going to be the predominant piece, and then just do a single accent, whether it's copper or silver, whichever you like. So, and that will reduce the weight just a little bit because, you know, these pieces, I have big pieces in my hands because, you know me, I'm always using scrap, but I have big pieces in my hands, but we're going to trim that down anyway. Okay. So hopefully that will give you a little indication on how to move forward. Okay. The soldering today is really simple and really straightforward. First, we're going to, again, solder the discs together. And we're going to use easy solder for that. And here we go. I'm just going to use it on my my screen, my lovely screen here with a hole in the middle. Okay, let's see. Sorry, went out too far. There you go. Okay. I'm just going to put a lot of stinking solder on here. I did say stinking because it's sort of stinking. Not really. Okay. Because we need this to solder all the way around. You can see that's a lot of solder, right? And I'm just going to use easy solder. You know, now I think about it, you can use copper solder. Should have used the copper solder. Too late now. All right. And I'm going to put it out towards the edges. I'm not even going to bother putting it in the middle. It'll spread, but I really want this to come out to the edges, right? Actually, you know, the more I'm thinking about this, if you haven't already, use the copper solder. It's cheaper. Yeah, you guys know how frugal I am. There's a reason for that. We want longevity. So we're going to put this right on top like so in a flat spot. I want to make sure that my soldering surface is nice and level because as soon as I start soldering, this thing is going to, it might, if it's on a uneven surface, it just might slide off. Another way of doing this too, and I know, Lena, if you're watching, you can put it on a honeycomb solder block, but what I found was that it was really hard to get the pieces to solder together because of the heat sink. And so I couldn't get under it. I really want to get under this just a little bit. Okay, so for me, I'm going to go ahead and keep a solder pick in hand, and just in case it decides to slide off. I'm sorry, Andy. Hi, Jim. I'm sorry I'm making your brain hurt. Just saying. Anyway. Okay, so I'm going to heat this from both top and bottom. So I'm going to start at the top. I put my copper on top. I don't know why. Let's be honest. Okay, so I'm just going to heat it. And I don't know if you could see it, but all of a sudden my disc sunk down right when I started heating it. And that's a solder just sort of melting together. And we're just going to heat it for both sides. Nice like that. And we want to watch these pieces just really suck in together as we solder. It shouldn't take too much time, and we are done. That's it. Very simple, straightforward. You're going to do that twice. Remember, we're doing a pair of earrings, okay? This particular design, though, I will say is not really great for a pendant. Usually when we're doing earrings, you can definitely make it into a pendant, but this one, maybe not so much. I don't know. You'll see. I find it a little pokey. Okay. If I did my job well, ooh, I did. So you can see it's all stuck together and nice and tight. Okay, so the question is, what kind of solder am I using? I'm going to throw this in the pickle and explain that to you. So I'm putting that piece into the pickle. So the solder that I'm using is paste solder, which means it has the flux built into it. So it becomes a one-stepper. It comes in a tube. A lot of people akin this to the paste solder or the tube solder that you find at the hardware store. However, for those of you who are new to this, it is not the solder from the hardware store. Although you could use it, but you don't want to, just saying. Anyway, so, you know, a lot of plumbers are using that paste stuff. It's the same thing, okay? So one stepper meaning you don't have to take out flux and add flux to it. But you do want to keep flux on your workbench, because if you heat this improperly and you burn the flux off of it, sometimes the solder doesn't want to flow. So you do need to keep flux on your workbench, because when that happens, you just have flux and you put it back on. So hopefully that answers your question. Let's check the pickle and see how we're doing here. Again, challenging pickle today for some reason. Okay, give it another minute. My pickle is on the side as always, and off camera. Make sure that you quench it and clean it. So coming up next, oh, you know what? Duh. Why am I doing this? Why am I not production lining this? Okay, I forgot. So the discs were soldered. Remember, you got to do it twice, and then we're going to solder these two pieces together. I am going to use copper solder on this at this point. Okie dokie. So if your pieces are not nice and flat, oops, something happened to you, like this, okay? If they are, let's just say, sort of wobbly like that, you got to make sure that you flatten it. Just put it on a bench block with a leather mallet and flatten it, and make sure that they are nice and even to each other, okay? So we're going to do that again. Put that down. And this time I'm going to go ahead and use, a little bit or a lot of copper solder. See that? That's a ton of solder. All right, so I'm going to put it from one end to the next, out to the edges, like so. It's a lot of solder. I'm going to put some more on there. I know, as if that wasn't enough, I'm going to actually put more on there, because I just want these pieces to totally solder together. Let me eyeball this. How far do I want to go down? All the way down. Almost. So take this to the edge there too. And that should be good. Again, if you're watching on my Q Farm Gray Facebook page, do jump over and come to the Q Talk Facebook page. That's where I post all the information on what's happening and what's coming up. I'm just going to push these together nice and even. The more even you do this, the less cleanup you have later. Just saying. Because yes, don't worry about it if you do this unevenly. don't worry about it too much because you can always trim it and sand it, file it, blah, blah, blah. Okay? I'm sorry, Andy? So the question is, why am I using copper solder? A, it's cheaper. It's going in between. No one's going to see it. And these are one-step soldering. This is a one-step soldering project, so it doesn't really matter how soft the solder is. And so yeah, it's just a nice, soft, easy, extra easy solder. And it'll go a little bit faster. And so I'm just going to heat it and get the heat underneath and make sure that that silver gets hot too, to make sure that it bonds together nicely. Remember, you got to get all your pieces nice and evenly hot if it's going to come together. Okay, there it is. So that's it. I mean, there's, you know, when you're doing mixed metal, you need to sort of make a decision whether or not you have more silver, which color you have more of. So if you have more silver, I typically would use silver solder. If you have more copper, I would use copper solder. Here, because the joint is in between, it doesn't really matter which solder you use. I'm just being cheap. Thanks, Janet. Okay, what did I do? Oh, this is me talking too much. I'm forgetting what the heck I'm supposed to be doing. All right, so here, quench it, and I'm gonna throw that in the pickle and pull out my other piece. Ooh, you're not gonna go, are you? Okay. That piece was a little bit big for my basket that's in the pickle, so I'm putting it on the side. I already know what's gonna happen there. I'm gonna be struggling in a little bit to get that to come out. Okay. Oh, pickle's not pickling the way I want it to pickle today, but oh well. Okay, so I clean that up just a little bit. Again, not sure why it doesn't want to pickle today. I pickled a piece earlier, it was just fine. Okay, so here, next thing you want to do is we're going to make washers out of this. So there's two ways of approaching this. Again, you can use a disc cutter or you can use a saw, okay? Disc cutter is really straightforward. I'm gonna go through that, but I'm gonna actually saw today and show you how to saw that. So first things first, let's go ahead and find the center of this. I'm sorry, can you repeat, honey? So I've been asked to repeat the question about the solder. So what kind of, I'm sorry, what was the, what was the question, honey? Oh, okay. So what kind of solder am I using? I am using paste solder, okay? And paste solder has flux built into it so that you don't have to use flux to get the solder to move, okay? So, did that answer the question, honey? Okay. Okay, so here I found the middle, and then I'm actually gonna mark my quadrants because I can, and that's how I'm using my centerfire. Notice I went from underneath to going to the top, okay? And I'm just gonna mark my quadrants like so. And then I'm gonna take out my circle template, and using the 1/2 inch, I'm going to mark my washer. Okay, so if you have a circle template, one thing that you can use to your advantage is if you notice they mark these in quadrants. You see, there it is, 1, 2, 3, 4. And that's why I marked my other one in quadrants, because it helps me line this up. So, and you know what? It just keeps moving on me. Whoops. So let's see if this helps. This is a mouse pad, so I'm trying to get it not to just, it moves every time I put this down on it. Okay, there we are. Okay, so we're gonna mark that. Fine tip Sharpie, it's always a good thing. Set that aside. So you want to go ahead and do this even if you're using a disc cutter, because then it'll help you line it up, right? So in here, if if you notice, I'm going to put it in there, and I'm going to take the rubber end of my awl, and that will help me line it up. You can see that in there. But again, I'm not going to use my disc cutter. I'm going to saw it out for you so that you can see how to do this. All right, so next thing is we're going to take a center punch, put this on a bench block, and we're going to center punch this piece so that we can pierce a hole, okay? So I'm going to just center punch right out here on the end, just a little bit, like so. You can use a hand punch, something like this, if you want to go in and punch that. But since we're going to be drilling today and you have a drill bit in your kit, I'm going to go ahead and use the Flux shaft to make this hole, to pierce this hole, okay? Clearly too big, but you want to use a twist drill. So what you have there in your kit is a twist drill, a high-speed stainless drill bit. Okay, so I'm going to put this in my Flux shaft, crank that puppy down, and remember when you're doing this, you want to move this to 2 positions to tighten it. Let's see if it's straight before we do anything. Ooh, not straight. You see that? That's totally not straight. So you better make sure you get that in straight. Like so. Let's see. Let's see if we can fix this. Okay. And did you see where my finger is here? I like to keep my finger there so that I can balance the bit while I'm tightening this up. So I'm moving this to a second position. It's always helpful to tighten in 2 places because it helps level this out. Let's see, is that any better? Much better. Okay, so now we'll go ahead and drill that hole. A little bit of cut lube will do ya. Just spin it right in there and put this straight down and drill a hole. And today we don't want to drill a hole. Wow. Oh, there we are. I'm sorry, honey. So the question is, how do I keep track of which drill bit is which size in my collection? I keep them in their containers. And hold on, I'll show you. Because I buy mine by the dozen, this is what I do. But you know what? Here's a trick for you. Get a piece of styrofoam and pierce it in there, and then you can mark on the styrofoam this size. All right, so here we are. They move this stuff away and set up my bench pin. All right. And then we're going to saw this out. Okay. Of course, a disc cutter makes a very nice, quick job of it, but sometimes it is just not reasonable. Sometimes you just don't own it. They're not cheap. A good one anyway. If you have an inexpensive one, like maybe you bought one from Harbor Freight, yeah, it's not going to work. I can tell you that right now. So we're going to switch cameras. Give me just 1 second there and make sure I'm in position. And here we go. Whoa. Let's just move you over just a little bit. Okay. A little bit challenging today. Okay. So here we are. We're going to open this up and we're going to put the saw blade in. Okay. Andy's telling me it's not a great camera angle. Let me see if I can fix it. Is that better? Okay. So, fixed. There we are. So make sure that your line is facing up so that you can see what's going on. Pull out your cut loop. And then we're going to saw this. Okay. So starting from that hole, we're going to work our way out to our line, and we're just going to saw a circle. Make sure you keep your eyes in front of the line, in front of the saw blade. That's how you know where you're going. Make sure that you are making long strokes the entire length of the saw blade. Don't do this. We'll be sitting here forever if you do that. So nice long strokes. So. And this doesn't have to be perfect, okay? Not for this project. I know cutting circles are not a great thing. As I say, I'm saying that because clearly I'm not cutting perfectly. You can see that. So what size saw blade do I use? I really prefer just to keep 2/0 in stock. That's considered standard. So that's pretty much what I keep. Although I do have some 1/0 and some size 2s, but the size 2s are really heavy. All right, so there we are. It's done. Oh, what brand? I like to use the Antelope Saw Blades. I'm sorry, I thought I heard what size. So what brand do I like to use is I like to use the Antelope Saw Blades, and here's why, okay? Because they're not as expensive as the like really, you know, heavy-duty Swiss ones, I'll say. And I really don't see the point of spending that kind of money, A. B, the other reason for that is the Antelope Saw Blades have a radius on the back of the blade. And why do you want that radius? It's to make churns a lot easier, okay? So we're using again, we are doing a 1/2 inch hole in here. And I'm going to take out my round file. I'm just going to file this just a little bit. I have a few places that weren't really great, but I'm just going to file it just a little bit. You don't even have to, really. Again, for this project, I'm just being a little anal retentive here. So when you're buying saw blades, really, saw blades are not that expensive that you should be buying really cheap saw blades, let's be honest, okay? Because the really cheap ones, they don't have that radius on the back. And if you're struggling, that's the reason why, is because you don't, if you're struggling and you're doing a lot of piercing work and you're doing scrolls and things, the reason why you're struggling is because that backside does not have a radius on it. We do have it on our website at theurbanbeater.com if you're interested. Sorry for the filing noise here. I know it's not a pleasant noise. Okay, there we are. Not bad, right? It's pretty close to the other one. I'm happy. Okay. Well, while I'm here and I've got this camera here, let's do the next step. You're just going to pull out your shears and we're going to cut through one side of this. If you cannot cut through this, take out your saw and saw it. So we're just going to cut through one, just like so. I know this is a little bit heavy, but you should be able to do that, just like that. Okay, we'll set that aside. Let's grab the other piece out of the pickle. So so the question is, what's a good disc cutter to buy? A really great disc cutter is the Lindstrom the Lindstrom one, okay, is a good one. And the Ikohe is another really good one. But I think the Ikohe has been discontinued. That's the one I have. It is a huge investment. It's about $250 for one of these. So as far as mediocre ones, frankly, I don't know. I don't know what a good middle of the road one would be. Okay, so here I'm just going to trim this because I can, and I'm going to find the middle of this strip. Okay, we'll use a divider and see if I can find the middle, and I'm going to cut this in half. So I'm going to use a divider to find my middle just by marking it like so and like so, and then I'm going to find the center of that between the marks. There we go. Okay, so that looks like it's center, and I'm just going to score it. Oh, it's off. Let's see. Someone said that Pepe makes a nice disc cutter. I have not had my hands on the Pepe one, so I cannot verify that completely. Okay, why am I having such a hard time finding the center here? That's a little bit too small. You could measure it. I know. Why would I measure? Why would I measure that? Anyway, okay. So there. So you can do one of two things. Here, you can go ahead and take out your saw and saw it, or you can just take out your shears and cut it. If I was doing this without the camera on, I'd go over there and do it on my on my bench shear. But I know that's not really nice to y'all who don't have one. So I'm gonna cut this right down the middle. Let's see how well I do this. If I can't cut this, I'm gonna put it to the saw. Yeah, I can do that. No. Okay, so we're just going to cut a straight line right down the middle without cutting off my fingers. And again, a lot of you will not be able to do this. I know that. So you want to take out your saw and just saw it, okay? And we'll have to straighten these out. Oh. Just like so. Okay. So let's switch cameras again. Give me just a second here. Put stuff away and move on to the next step. Again, if you're looking for the details of this project, you'll have to get the kit to find out. All right. Here we go. So to flatten these pieces out, I'm just going to put it on a bench block. But you do want them to be flattened out just a little bit. And it's easiest for me just to put the convex side up to flatten. Okay, so the disadvantage of using a shear, a bezel shear, is that it created this curve in the metal, and you'll need to straighten that out. So if you had sawed it, you should have a straight line. However, you probably would have had to file that. So either way, it's, 2 1/2 dozen to another, right? Wait, 6 to 1/2 dozen to another. Okay. All right, so next up, we're going to shape these. All right, we'll pull out some, you can do it with some pliers. I'm going to do it with a pair of nylon nose pliers because it's easiest for me. And we're just going to hold this and twist it. Okay, so I've been asked to re-explain what we're doing here today. Today is a step-by-step surprise project. So the details of the project are for those who had purchased the kit for the step-by-step surprise. This is my way of, or our way of, still sharing the project, but also trying to make some revenue. So that's the story. Okay. Projects on Mondays are all up online and free, where I share all the details and whatnot. And then Fridays we go to Zoom, and that's all nice and private. So you notice how I'm twisting that? So you see my two-tone? Isn't that cool? That's where we are. And then now what's going to happen is this piece will go in here. Okay? So I'm going to go ahead and trim that. I'm going to eyeball that and trim that because I don't want this that long. So depending on how you twist this, this piece can be shorter or longer. Everybody's is going to be a little bit different from one another. And I'm going to, oops, actually this side is better than the other one, so I'm going to trim it on this side, like so. Okay. And I'm going to straighten this out just a little bit. Not trimming. There we go. So what I'm doing is I'm trimming these curves. Okay. And I'm going to nip the corners just to remove the sharp edges. And then we're going to file those down. And you'll do the same on every corner that you have. Just like so. You can do this with also a pair of side cutters or wire cutters, whatever you have, to make your life a little bit easier. We'll go ahead and file that. So I like to create a radius on all of my corners. It's a thing. Do you have to? No, but I find it a little pokey. You know what I mean? It's just a little bit pokey. So we're just going to do it like so. Get those sharp edges off. So there we are. This one's a little bit thicker than this one, so I'm going to trim that just a little bit more. Not going to be too easy here, but I'm going to do it. Oh, if I draw blood, don't call 911. It'll be fine. Yep, sawing this would have been easier. My bench shear would have been even easier than that. But I know it's not fair for me to get up and use my bench shear. So I'm going to have to file that because it's not a great edge there. Much better. I'm sorry, Andy? I still don't understand you, Andy. He's telling me something, and I don't know why, but it seems to cut out every single time. He's telling me something pertinent. Got it. Okay. Here we go. So yes, texture plates are really great for something like this. It's coming together very nicely. Okay, so here we have two tones going all over the place. We're going to have to pierce some holes. However, something to, let me show you where this is going, okay? So this is where we're going with this, right? Just like so. And we're going to hang a little dangle on the bottom. But you may decide that you really don't want to. And maybe you don't like this little dangle bead on the bottom. So if you don't want to, then you'll only pierce one hole on these strips. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. Pull out that bench block again and your center punch. And we're going to center punch the top of each one of these. Just a teeny weeny bit, like so. Yes, I'm using my leather mallet because it sort of doesn't matter. Okay, and you need to decide which way you want up. This hole on this one is going to be for the earring wire. So do you want the silver, if you're doing the two-tone, do you want the silver to be up or do you want the silver to be down? That's sort of up to you. So I'm going to put this right at the tip top. Right there. And do the same for the other one. Now, if you like some people like to wear different earrings on each ear. You can do that, and you can flip this one so that they're in opposites. Up to you. All kinds of design options today. By the way, if you want to join in on this one, there are a few kits still available. Okay, so I punched that slightly off. I'm going to have to punch another one and hope that I drill in the right place. Like so. I forgot to punch the bottoms of these. I'm going to do that too now. So punching both ends in the center, right there. Just like so. And you know, the more I'm looking at this, the more I feel like I need to do a little bit more sanding and filing. So give me just a second here. Let's do a little bit more of that. Just like so. I want my edges to be really nice. Okie dokie. All right, I'm going to do the same thing on this one. So now you understand why making that circle, it didn't have to be perfect, because when we bent this, no one's ever going to be able to tell, right? So I'm just going to take a little bit of this corner off of each of the corners. So we've got 4 corners to take off, like so. Okay, so here's what I'm noticing. Can you see that? I have a slight bend from cutting it. So I'm going to go ahead and put it on here and flatten that out. That would make me much happier. Let's see how this one's doing. Yeah, probably have to do the same thing on the other one too. All right, here we are, just like that. Flatten that out. And of course you can curl this even more if you wanted to. These are design options. And I'm going to hit this with a little bit of sandpaper just to give it that bit of a finishing touch so that I don't have any file marks going anywhere. Just like so. Okay. let's pull out that piece of wood again, and we're going to drill holes again, okay? A little bit of cut lube. So this is going to take a minute. Because it's a lot of metal to drill through. So why didn't I have you just punch this? Because I wanted smaller holes. I want it to be a little bit more discreet instead of having these large holes, right? And I think my drill bit is dull. Let's see how far I get in the next one here. Ooh, hot, hot. As they get hot, I'm just going to move between the pieces to allow it to cool off. Every so often you want to re-lubricate just to keep this going. Okay, almost done. Okay. So remember, this is a surprise project, and that's why we don't have pictures of it, because it's not revealed until the very end, a picture of the project. So that's sort of the fun here. But if you follow us on the Facebook page, I guess I haven't really been posting the pictures of the final project, but other people have. So I think I'm going to have to start doing that. Sorry. I don't know why. I never thought about doing that. So for some reason, I've got one stubborn one that doesn't want to pierce. So weird. Everybody else has pierced. Let's get going here. Wow. See, just like, what, was it last week or 2 weeks ago? One hole just does not want to be pierced. There we go. Okay. Done. All right, so my piercing has created a few burrs. So I'm just going to take out a little bit of a rougher sandpaper and take that off. Just a little teeny bit. There we go. And then I'm going to clean up the metal before I put this all together, because we're just about there, and then we'll be done. So for some reason this did not pickle great, so I'm just going to throw it back in the pickle while I clean this one up. There we are. All right, gonna pull out some steel wool and just give it a nice shine. You can use a brass brush if you want. If you have a brass brush on your flex shaft, you can do that too. think I'm going to move over to the brass brush. It'll go faster. Yeah. Yeah, why struggle when we can do that? Let's see. Here we go. So. So it's sort of fun. I don't know if I've ever shared this, but I've been thinking about doing these surprise projects for like literally years, right? And it took until COVID to push me into doing this. So what are we on? I think this is number 14 surprise projects, right? Okay, so this is just a brass brush on my flex shaft, and it is making very quick work of this. Yay! Nice. Very nice. Okay. Just hit everything that you want to. You can leave this matte if you prefer. You can use your 400 grit sandpaper and mat it up, or even, you know, a light matte at 500, that's fine. Or get really aggressive with it and put on a 150 grit sandpaper and create a texture. Okay, so this is going to have to get washed, I'm feeling. Yeah, I got some schmutz on there, see that? So if you get this kind of business on there, you'll want to put you'll want to take it to the sink and wash it with like Dawn liquid soap, unless you have a steam cleaner, jewelry cleaner to get that off. But otherwise, it's fine. There we go. There are my pieces. Yay. You know, I see a little wobble right here. Let me fix that. So you can refine your piece as you go, as I'm doing here. But this is from the sawed one, so it's just a little bit of a wobble. So we'll just fix that. Okay. Let's get the other pieces out. Oops, where'd you go? I have two pickle pots. Of course I chose the wrong pickle pot. Ah! Okay. Sorry, I can't seem to get it out of my pickle pot. Okay. And again, I don't know why. It's really struggling to pickle right now. So, you know, let's see if this will work. See, it's been pickling for quite a while. The pickle is very hot, but yet my piece won't pickle. And honestly, because this is a texture plate, it's going to be really hard to get into those crevices. So you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to torch it. I'm going to create fire scale again and see if that will clean up. So hold on. Let me put this away and we'll do a little more torching. Okie dokie. Just like so. I'm just going to torch it. I'm not going to torch it to the point where you're going to make the solder flow. I'm just going to torch it to create fire scale. I'm not completely clear what's causing that. So you can even see it's darker than the other places, right? It's darker in that one spot. So let's see if we can just get that to fix here. Okay. I don't think it's contamination because the piece was clean when I started. We'll quench that. Put it back in the pickle. Okay, let's try it, see what happens. But this is the kind of thing that I do when I have this kind of stuff. I just torch it, you know, when I get weird stuff on my surface. It's a way of handling it, I guess. Let's see. So I see a comment here. Could try putting a little flux on it before you heat it. Sometimes that helps. Yeah, you know, honestly, I don't use a lot of flux because my solder has flux built into it. But you know what? I will tell you what, if this doesn't come out of the pickle clean, I'm going to put flux on it and see what happens. But the thing is, when you're using flux, FYI, it does help fire scale. So for those of you who are used to using flux, or you're using flux to prevent fire scale, but you're using solder paste, you can still flux it. No one says you shouldn't or couldn't. You can still flux it if you're trying to prevent fire scale. So it's not a bad thing. You know, we're just lazy out here, that's all. That's all this is. Okay, so almost done. Okay, while we're waiting for that, let's make some head pins, all right? So I'm just going to use some silver to create some head pins. You cut it to whatever you want it to be. Some people need more wire to work with. Some people need less, but typically about 2 inches is good. I'm actually going to cut it at about 1.5 inches. I don't need that much wire to do a wire wrap. So on each one of these, I'm just going to make a quick ball pin, and then we'll wrap it on. Okay, so right at the blue tip, hold that with a pair of fire tweezers, and boom, I have a ball. That's simple. We love ball pins. And you might want to try and make it as even as possible, but hey, no one's gonna know, trust me. Or if they do, they've invaded your personal bubble, right? Because that's way too close to your ears to know that it is not the same size. All right, so I'm just gonna put that in there. See how cute that is? You can use any bead you want. Maybe you didn't like the bead I gave you in the kit. You can use whatever bead you want. All right, let's check the pickle. See, where are we? Better. Not great, but better. Give it another minute here. And then we're just gonna finish it already. Oh, hey, I need some earring wires, huh? Whoops. All right, let's make some earring wires while we wait for the pickle. So 3 inches of wire times 2. You guys were provided with earring wires, but I'm gonna make mine because I can, and we're waiting for the pickle anyway. So what is this? We're about 6 inches. Yeah, we'll go with a short piece. But I usually work with about 3 inches. So just about 2.5. There we go. I'm going to use my multi-looping plier because we love the multi-looping plier for this especially. I'm trimming off this ends just with a flush cutter just to make it nice and flush. Okay, so together we're going to do this. Just make a loop like so. And then we'll move it down to another one. I'll go to the big one. And right about there. And check that out. We have a pair of earring wires. Hold that and trim that. And you might want to file those ends just a little bit. I'm just going to run a little bit of sandpaper on there to soften that up. There we are. All right, so then you're going to need some pliers, of course, to attach these pieces. So we'll pull that out, and let's see how our pickle's doing. Oh yeah, okay, much, much better. Yay, look at that, yay, done deal. Just like so. You can also liver sulfur this. I'm not going to liver sulfur today because not the look I want. But you can. No one's stopping you. I'm not going to be there. Remember, it's still COVID. I'm not going anywhere to see what you guys made. But you could post your pictures. That would be great. Okay, so I'm just going to clean this up just a little bit there. All right. So someone just mentioned that baking soda is great for removing fire scale. I did not know that. But that makes sense because it's an abrasive. And it, you know what? I would bet you the baking soda is going to be really good with the texture because it'll get into those really small areas. Huh. You're making me think. I will go do that after this when we're done and see what happens. Okay. So I'm going to open up the earring wire and I'm just going to add this in there. Like so. Oh, you know what? I'm going to wire wrap this first. Makes a little more sense to wire wrap it first. Let's see, where's my round nose? Okay, so wire wrapping, pretty straightforward. We're just going to right above it, about a 1/4 inch, just nice bend over like so. Let's tighten this up just a little bit so you can see what's going on. Oops. And then attach this to the bottom. Just like so. Okay. And then of course you'll do it twice and do it for the other unit too. It's a pair of earrings after all. And then we'll wrap it around. Once, twice, or 3 times, it's up to you. Like so. Hey Andy, am I too tall or too low? Andy's telling me I'm not in frame, but yet what I'm looking at tells me I'm dead center. Okay, there we are. So that's our dangle. We'll do another one real quick. So someone asked, is it baking soda paste or is it just baking soda? You know, frankly, this is new to me. I would make a paste out of it. I would just add water and make it into a paste. I mean, it sounds like it should really work and is a pretty good idea. So there's nothing about that suggestion that doesn't sound right. That doesn't make me happy. The suggestion is actually making me really happy right now. I'm like, huh, okay, I'm gonna have to really think about that. So whoever posted that said yes, add water and use a wet brass brush. Okay. Struggling to wire wrap today for some reason. And if you really can't do this, then put in a jump ring. Get what I'm saying? Put in a jump ring in here and attach it to the jump ring. Okay. So what I always do at the end here after wire wrapping is I tuck in that little tiny point. Okay, there we are. Cool. Let's attach it to the earring wire. You can decide which way you want to go with this. You can go with the silver facing forward, or you can go with the brass or the copper facing forward. Come on. Oh geez, what the heck? Okay. Hold on. Why are you not going in? Is it Monday? No, it is, there we go. It is Wednesday. And you see how I did that? We're just gonna flip that down and this is gonna go. Oh. And I dropped it out, okay. How about this? I'm gonna start over. How about I take this out and we're gonna put it on like that together. Golly, Q. Let's make sure I do this right. There we go. There we go. There's the easy way to do it. There's your earring. Okay. Another thing you can do here, which I'll do on this second piece so you can see it, is give it a twist. This will make it even more interesting. So I'm going to find the center of this. It is about 1.5 inches, so we're going to go at about here, like so. And I'm going to take out 2 pairs of nylon nose pliers. And I'm going to twist this. I really didn't want to do this, but I'm going to do it because I feel like I'm going to screw this up. Blah! So notice where I'm at. Notice where I'm at here. And I'm just going to gently twist it around. You see where I'm going with that? Scary. Oh, I don't know why this really freaks me out. There we go. I'm really taking my time to do this. Slowly but gently. And I'm using nylon nose pliers because I don't want to mar anything. Okay, we're almost there. And I'm going to bring this all the way to the front, like so. Are we even? Oh yeah, look at that. So we're even. Okay. The other one. So actually, you know, if you decide to twist your metal, I would do it when you attach it. I would attach it so that the copper is on top, and so you have a real two-tone deal here. So I'm going to cut this off so I can show you what's going on. I need this to be a little more flat. I can tell already that this is not going to be, oops, let's see, is that going to work? It's going to be a little bit challenging, so I need to twist this just a little bit more to flatten it because there's not quite enough space right here to work, as you can see. So it's just going to go a little bit more. I know I usually run these for about an hour or a little bit over, but that's okay. There's a recording. You guys can always come back. Again, I'm just twisting it a little bit more just to get that down. I'm going to test it and see if it fits. Oops, come on. Come on over. There we are. So you're going to play with this a little bit. There we go. And put it over. And then attach your earring wire. Okay. I say that like it's so easily done. There we go. One piece, 2 pieces, there, and we're on. That's it. Attach your bead on the bottom, and notice we have a honest two-tone, silver and copper on top, copper and silver on the bottom if you twist it. If not, then here we are. Okay, so the one that's not twisted moves a little bit more freely than the one that is twisted because of this twist in the middle here. If you want to, what you can do is you can put this on on a bench block and a leather mallet and flatten that out. So I actually like the dimension in it, so I'm going to leave it just like so, and then I'm going to attach my bead later. But that's the project. I hope you like it. For everybody who ordered kits, the instruction sheet will be sent out later today so that you have it for later if you're not making this along with me. For everybody else who missed out, don't miss out. Next week we are doing step-by-step surprise Valentino. Like I said, if you don't like hearts, don't order it. You know, Valentine's Day is coming. And the next step-by-step surprise, if you're missing out on all the fun, is step-by-step Radiant. The only clue I'm going to give to you on that is look at the tools list. It will indicate a little bit what the project's going to be, but that's going to be a fun one too. I'm excited for that. It's going to be a bit of a departure from all the things that we've done before, and there is a stone involved. That's the other hint that you have. So anyway, there we are. Thanks for following along. Hopefully you like the project if you signed up for it. There are a couple kits still left if you still want to join us, because you did not want to be surprised and you waited until now to see the project. Anyway, all right. Well, have a great rest of the week. Don't forget, there is no, the Foursquare project is being pushed to next week because I screwed up on the kit. But we'll probably do a Zoom along. Look for the link on the Q Talk Facebook page. If you are not on the Q Talk Facebook page, do join us. If you're watching us on YouTube or Twitch, say hello, give us a little bit of feedback, and because it helps our numbers. In the meantime, everybody have a great rest of the week. It's hump day, so we're almost there, and I'm going to go back and keep working on virtually ever crafting. Registration starts really soon. Okay, have a great day, everyone.